Jumbo, everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safaris. In order to feel welcome to Swahili. So welcome aboard. Come on in and find a seat.
Aqui, ó, tem outra ponta aqui, moço. Vai no colo do papai aqui pra fazer pau.
On the right, watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs. Doors will be sliding closed. Asante San Award. Asante San. Thank you very much. Swahili. Now it's Monday. Monday meeting. Let's go. Alright, good morning. Welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Justin. Your safari guide for this adventure into the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Just a quick safety reminder before we get out there. We do need everyone to remain fully seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle. Feel free to take photos while we're out here. Just be sure to hang on tight to all of your personal belongings. Can get this funky out here. But we're going to get started in an area of the reserve known as the Little Hickory Forest. A lot of the creatures that make the home out here especially will use their markings or coloration to help them to blend in with their environment. That tends to be their first line of defense against predators. Can make some of them a little bit harder for us to find at times. So out to our right, there's some animals over there known as okapi. The okapi are mostly dark brown, but they do have some white stripes on their legs. You can get a good view of those stripes. They remind you of a zebra. They're not related to them though. The okapi are the only known living relatives of the giraffe. Yep, they don't have markings like a giraffe or their height and long necks. They do have a very similar skeletal structure. Like giraffe, okapi have very long tongues that they can use to reach out and grab onto their food. Now, on top of the hill to our right, a couple very large black and white birds. Those are saddle-billed storks. Pretty common to find them in a pair like that, as they are thought to mate for life. Hiding deep in the brush to our right, there are two different antelope species. There are some bondos of an orangish-brown color, vertical light-colored stripes on their sides. There's also some greater kudu, more of a tan color. Looks like those greater kudu don't have horns. That indicates that they are female. And for their species, just the males grow horns. They grow in a long, loose spiral that can reach about 6 feet in length. We're going to make our way towards the edge of the forest area by heading through the Safi River system. While we make our way through here, you'll want to keep an eye in and around the water for whatever creatures might be out here. We might find some hippos. Hippos are nocturnal though, so they'll sleep and rest for most of the day. Typically they sleep mostly, if not fully, underwater. That can make them a little bit harder to find. You see a lot of pelicans down on that island. Oh, and there's a couple hippos in the very back right corner. If you don't see them, don't worry. We've got more river to get through, so hopefully we'll find more up ahead. There's more of the pelicans up ahead on the shore. Now the pelicans, they look a bit gray, but they are actually known as pink-backed pelicans. You get a bit of a fluff to them. Shows through the feathers on their back. There's some more hippos out in the water to our left. Hang out in the water for a good portion of the day, though they will come up on the land too. Up on land is typically where they find their food. The hippo's primary food source is just grass. Yeah, they eat grass as well as other vegetation. They do have some pretty large, sharp tusks in their mouth. They use those tusks in displays of dominance and in territorial displays. Hippos can be very territorial too, so it is best to give them plenty of space. Especially considering that despite their size, hippos can easily outrun humans. See a few more down by the waterfall. Medium creatures give plenty of space to fly out over to our left as we cross this bridge. Sometimes you see some Nile crocodile down there. Those crocodiles have an incredibly strong bite. They can chomp down through foam quite easily. Well, we're gonna make our way out of the dense forest area onto the more wide open savanna. The savanna is where we might find some of the more famous, easily recognized animals like giraffe, maybe some zebras. But there's a lot more than just them out here. I never really know though who all we're gonna find until we're out here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a traffic.
The savanna does have a pretty harsh climate. It can go months out of the year without receiving any rainfall, so animals and plants have had to adapt to surviving in those conditions.
See what I'm saying.
The big tree that's going to be up ahead on our right, known as a baobab tree, pretty iconic for the savanna. They go leafless for about 9 months out of the year. It's going to help them to conserve water. Kind of makes it look like the roots are sticking up into the air. They do have the nickname the upside down tree. Giraffe way out in the distance to our right. Also some animals over there with massive horns. Those would be the Ankoli cattle. Make our way over there in their direction in a moment or two. I might see some zebras over in this direction in the very back corner. There are different species of giraffe and zebra. One of the ways to tell them apart is by looking at the patterns and markings that they have on their coats. The zebras that are up ahead are a species known as Hartman's mountain zebras. They're going to have a white underside, and towards their back legs, stripes will get a bit thicker and a bit further apart too. While they will have some broader similarities to their markings, each one's pattern is equally individual. Just past the zebras, there's also some sable antelope. They have a beautiful dark brown coat, where the name comes from. They also have a pair of slender, curved-backed horns. Their horns end in a sharp point, making them very good tools for defense, even against predators that might try jumping up on their backs.
No. No? Parece sim. Não parece falando, não. Parece cavalo colorido com preto. Cavalo colorido com preto.
Eles cantam, those guys are. Eles deitados nessa morte. Ah, o primo dele? Vamos bater. É o que, não viu?
Olha ali, meu pai. Chega ali. Ali de formiga, sabia? É mesmo. É assim. Porque os tabu ali, sei lá.
These Ancoli cattle up ahead have some pretty massive horns. Their horns are there for more than just their looks. They help them to regulate their body
E olha o
temperature.
cheiro daquele gado, daquele
There's veins that go through their horns so they can release heat from their bodies out through their horns.
Vamos gordo, viu? Vamos dar uma queda
A
nele.
bit closer
Aqui
to
a
some of
girafa,
these
bem
giraffes.
pertinho,
There's
hein?
one on the other side of the trees here to our right. One at the large clearing with the wildebeest.
Vem.
The wildebeest, they're pretty well known for their migration. They'll travel sometimes over 1,000 miles in search of water during the long periods of drought. Now, the large tan-colored antelope out to our left, those are eland.
Olha a girafa.
Eland are one of the largest antelope species. They can reach about 6 feet tall at the shoulder.
Quilo pra mim.
Nowhere near as tall as a giraffe.
Olha, pai, você viu a
A
girafa?
newborn giraffe will already be around 6 feet tall. Grow up to reach heights around 18 to 20 feet tall for fully grown. Way out at the edge of this large clearing, there are some tiny antelope that have a tan back, light underside, dark brown stripe in the middle. Those are the springbuck. Springbuck are pretty small, typically less than 3 feet tall. Quite the athletes though. They can reach speeds around 50 to 60 miles an hour. They'll spring up into the air around 9 to 13 feet off of the ground. There we go. Nice and close to a bunch of giraffe. Being the tallest land animal of the group of giraffes, quite appropriately known as a tower. They certainly do tower above everybody else. As we head a bit further into the savannah, we're coming up into elephant territory. Let's see if we can find some elephants out here. They are the largest land animals. They can reach weights around 13,000 pounds, so when they're out and about, they are pretty hard to miss. There's one over there to our right. Looks like this one might be on its own. It's a good indicator that it's a male bull elephant. They're gonna be a bit more solitary, preferring to be on their own like that. Looks like there's a mandrill monkey in the very back right corner of the area on our left. Walking away from us, you can see that very distinct blue and red coloration got to its rear end.
Já entrou na foto.
We're going to keep on going a little further into elephant territory. Maybe we'll find more of them out here. They cover a very large territory, in part because they need to be able to find a lot of food. One day, it's thought that one elephant can consume around 4 to 6% of its body weight in food. Maybe several hundred pounds of food daily for the larger ones. When you combine their massive appetites with farmers increasingly setting up farms in the path of elephant migration, there has been a bit of human-elephant conflict over the years. It's been helped a bit, though, by some research that Disney conservationists were involved in, thanks to the Disney Conservation Fund, into how elephants communicate. Now, they learned that elephants have a unique call that they'll use to warn each other about bees. They're not a fan of bee stings, so they'll typically avoid any areas where bees are found. Using that information, they were able to develop beehive fences. Beehives at the perimeter of farmland will work as a very effective deterrent for elephants without causing them any harm or disrupting the environment. Benefits farmers additionally with some pollination from those bees, with another source of income, the honey that the bees produce. I think I see more elephants way out in the distance to our left. Let's see if we can get closer. looks like there's a group of them in the area over here. Well, the males, like that first one we saw, will be more solitary, preferring to be on their own. Female elephants will stick together in their group, in the same group for pretty much their entire lives. Being in a group will make it safer for any little ones that they might have. Little, definitely a relative term when it comes to elephants. The newborn elephant, they weigh a couple hundred pounds.
There's a few. They're coming up.
Looks like there's a little one over there. That's about the size of that one. It's probably only about 2 years old.
Eu levo pra casa.
Tá, tô vendo. Olha lá.
Que fofo.
In this pond, there are some flamingos.
Vai no 2 e 3.
These are greater flamingos. They're the largest species. Typically, they'll be the lightest pink in color, too.
Olha os flamingos. Tira foto.
They are well known for their pink coloration. They turn pink because of their diet, because of the very high concentration of carotene and things they
Olha
eat.
só o
They eat things like bright shrimp.
Olha só, eles ficam. Eu fico pensando.
Põe a cabeça pra dentro da água.
É um murilo.
Ele não saiu daqui.
O cocô é um murilo. É o tamanho de um murilo. Cadê que ele envolve?
There's a pretty big mud pit over here. Mud pits like this are a very popular hangout area for animals like rhinos and warthogs. They like to wallow around in the mud in order to cool down. Having mud on their skin will have many benefits for them, including acting as a bit of a sunblock. I don't see any rhinos around here, but there are a couple ostriches way out to this far right. Kind of circling around in that direction, so hopefully we'll catch up with them in a minute. Looks like rhinos have been through here. Some bit of mud scraped off in some of these rocks and trees in a way that the rhinos will do as the mud dries, so keep an eye out for them. See what else we can find. I think I see something over here. This hill to our left. Yeah, it looks like there's a cheetah in the very back left corner. Just laying down, relaxing right now. Cheetahs, though, are the fastest land animals. They can reach speeds over 60 miles an
Ah, o
hour.
meu pai do lado
And as
atrás.
little as about 3 seconds.
É da minha camiseta, mãe.
Ah,
See a few more of them over here in this other little clearing. Over at the left-hand edge of this one.
ah lá, tem outro deitado lá.
Ai, que
Os
fofo.
dois ali deitados. Meu Deus, tu morreu.
Que fofinho deitadinho.
3.
Ali, deitado.
3.
3.
4.
While cheetahs are a larger species of cat, unlike other big cat species, cheetahs can't actually roar, but I think I see a big cat over here that definitely can roar, yeah. At the base of the tall rocks to the left side,
Vai aparecer desse
there's a
lado.
lion.
Leão.
Ah lá.
Lion's
deitado.
roar can be heard from around 6 miles away for the right conditions. One of those conditions would have to be that they're not sleeping. They're going to spend around 16 to 20 hours out of every day sleeping and resting. They tend to sleep away the daytime hours as they want to avoid being active during the heat. They're most active during the evening time. A couple more lions at this edge of the rocks, and we did find the rhinos. We're hanging out with those water buck on the top of the hill to our right. And up there as well. These rhino are a species known as white rhino. They can reach weights in the 5,000 to 6,000 pound range. We'll kind of circle around these rocks. We'll come back to them in a moment. It looks like the male lion is snoozing away.
he is.
And when it comes to hunting, it is typically the female lions of the group that'll be the main hunters. The male lion's primary responsibility is to defend the territory and especially any cubs, if there are any, from any other predators that could be in the area, including other groups of lions. Let's see, these white rhinos, they can reach weights in the 5,000 to 6,000 pound range. A little more social of a rhino species, so not uncommon to find them in a group. A group of rhinos known as a crash. They have very wide mouths, which are well suited to grazing on the grass of the savanna area where they live. This is around where we saw the ostriches. I didn't see them again. Looks like they laid some eggs over on the ground to our right, though. Being the biggest birds, ostriches will lay the largest eggs of any bird. One of their eggs will weigh the same as around 24 chicken eggs.
Já passou.
Grandões.
Os ovos?
Grandões, assim.
Dava as cruzes?
Aqui é pouco. Era de ela,
Alright, well now we are entering the Magani Glen. Out here, the warden has a little outpost that they've set up with an area to keep some Nigerian orphans. They're cute little creatures. They look like they may still be kids, but these are full-grown adults.
Olha só.
They are very friendly and social animals. If you were to hop on the Wildlife Express train over to Rafiki's Planet Watch and Conservation Station, you find they have a little affection section or a petting zoo out there where you can go up and pet some goats like these, as well as other domesticated creatures. While you're out at the Planet Watch, you can also check out the animation experience, learn to draw an animated animal character. It's also where our veterinary clinic and animal nutrition center is located. That vet's area has an observation window, so if they're performing any checkups or procedures, you're able to watch as they do so. Well, on that note, this does about bring our safari to a close. Your animal sightseeing adventures don't have to end here. As soon as you exit the safari, you'll be near the entrance to the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. That's a self-guided walking trail. Typically lasts around 15 to 20 minutes, depending on your pace. As the name implies, there's an area out there where you might find some